It's long overdue for the Toyota Land Cruiser to get some more loving. And we're going to do that in the form of some aesthetic updates. Tune in. Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of Project Overland Cruiser. Now, like I said at the beginning, there's going to be huge breaks in time between installments of this series. I plan to hold on to this Land Cruiser for an extended period of time. I love this rig so much, and I'm going to do incremental, modifications over time. Now this one, nothing serious, guys. I just want to focus on some aesthetic issues. So we're going to take care of that stuff. One of the big things is the wooden interior. Yeah, not a super fan of that, and it also hasn't aged very well. The wood itself, the wood grain add-on, which I heard is actually put on at the dealership, doesn't look like it's holding up too well. So we're gonna try a cheap fix to make the interior look a lot more modern. And by not holding up well, I mean it's sun faded, there's a lot of gold showing, it just doesn't look good, it doesn't match the demeanor of our Overland rig here. Like I said, we're gonna make it look more modern for a very good price, $0.99. So let's get on that. We're also gonna add some floor mats too. The vehicle never came with floor mats. Now you can find the OEM Toyota Land Cruiser fabric floor mats. Fabric is not gonna work with what we plan to do with this vehicle. So we're gonna get some really good all-weather floor mats in there, get those installed, and then we'll have a pretty nice interior. After I purchased the vehicle, I really wanted to have the outside colors match, kind of a color scheme. I love the silver that comes with the vehicles, but with the black ARB bumpers, the black wheels, and the eventual black ARB rear bumper we're going to install, I really wanted it to just go for a black and white color mix. We got some Plasti Dip out, changed some of that silver cladding to a matte black or satin black finish. It really changes the look of the vehicle, so I'll just highlight a couple photos from when I did that back so long ago. And then we'll get on the interior of this thing and try to make that look a little more modern too. So let's get on this Land Cruiser and do a little bit of work, shall we? For this job, you're going to need the following tools. A heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you can use a hair dryer or a really warm interior, but I would advise using a heat gun. I think this is going to make the job a lot easier. Some interior trim removal tools. You don't need anything fancy here. This is a very cheap set that I've used over the years. Really gets the job done. There's a variety of sizes and shapes here to help you remove the trim pieces. You don't want to use metal because you don't want to scratch the underlying plastic. So any kind of cheap trim removal set will do. Goo gun or any other kind of chemical adhesive remover will work great too, in case you need to clean up anything left behind. Now I'm a fan of Goo Gun over Goof Off or any other brand because this is a lot more milder and you won't damage any surfaces, any plastics or anything like that. So just get yourself something like this. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You can see here in the trim, it is not supposed to just be all gold looking. Clearly the brown has dissolved over time, the sun has faded it, and it really just looks like a big patch of gold wood, I guess you could say that. Kind of neat looking, but not really what we're going for in the interior here. So we're gonna start there. I'll show you exactly what we're up to. Eventually, yes, we'll work our way into the cabin. The largest wood sections are right here around the shifter, and of course the radio HVAC control section. So we'll get to all these sections in due time. So we'll start here on the passenger side. As you can see, the trim piece has lost all of its shine, all of its finish. looks flat. It's actually rough to the touch. Just does not look very appealing. We are gonna remove that trim piece. Underneath should be just gray plastic. Should look pretty good. Should match the door handle there. So let's get this off. Just a couple words of advice. If you're using a heat gun, make sure you're not putting too much heat on it. This vinyl can warp and wrinkle and all kinds of horrible stuff. That's always a good word of caution with a heat gun. So just keep it at a moderate level, keep it at a fair distance. As you pry, you're just using it to loosen up the adhesive underneath. Let's get going. On the driver's side rear seat area now, and this is what it should look like. It's actually a pretty nice color, really dark brown. As you can see, this is completely failed in the rest of the car. That's why it's gold looking or completely flat looking. So this is what it should look like. Obviously you get a lot less sun back here. So let's pull this up. Just remember, it's got to get worse before it can get better. As you can see right here, this is looking pretty horrible. You can see extra adhesive material. You can see all this residue left behind. It just looks gnarly. It looks all scraped up and horrible. What did we do to our Land Cruiser? I think we're gonna be all right, guys. I'm gonna pick the rest of that off with my fingernails, Goo Gone it up, and get that looking nice and smooth, hopefully. So just remember, it's gotta look worse before it gets better. This part is not gonna be fun at all. All right, this is a slow go, but hopefully it turns out good. Let's keep working it. That's looking pretty damn epic. So we're looking pretty good here with that removed around the climate control and infotainment screen. I think that looks awesome. Another sign that you can tell that's kind of a add-on part, that veneer, is look at this. You can see the vent close and vent open actual symbols there, which were originally covered up by that wood grain. You can see it on both sides here. So that is pretty cool. We'll clean this up a little bit more, but boy, doesn't that look awesome. I'm a huge fan of how that turned out. So clean looking. Makes it just look a lot more modern in here. So I scooped up some WeatherTech floor mats, all weather variety, for the Toyota Land Cruiser. They should be nice and rugged, ready for some off-road abuse, some mud and dirt. So let's get these bad boys in. They should be perfect fitting. The rear one does need to be trimmed, I did read that, so let's install the front one, see how they fit, and then take a look at the rears. As expected, the WeatherTech floor mats fit wonderfully in the front. Excellent fitment all around. And they match our new black center console, fantastic. Also, as expected, they need to be trimmed quite a bit in the rear. Kind of a bummer that they don't touch. I guess you could push them in more, but I kind of like them against the edge. So we'll probably keep them like that. It looks like I need to trim. You can see all the lines. They're actually pre-made to be cut at those certain points. So we're just going to measure the footing where the seats connect, cut around that, and obviously this rear center console so it fits underneath there. It looks as clean as possible, but again, high quality rubber. Can't complain about that. So let's cut these and make them fit. Only cut as much as you need to. You can always cut more if you need to. If you go too far, you've gone too far. So let's cut these up and make them fit. Liking it so far. In retrospect, it does look like the rear WeatherTech floor mats do fit together in the middle. There's kind of a locking tab there that holds them together for the most part. So what you need to do is slide them in a little bit at the edges. They don't go all the way to the edge, which is kind of upsetting, but it is what it is. It gets pretty close. There's like a couple inches there, 2.5 inches maybe. So we still need to do quite a bit of trimming around the center console, around the legs of each seat. But you can see I did put a piece of tape there to mark the center. I measured. I did want to do that so I got the center line right in the middle where I could make sure the mats are an even amount from the doors. You can measure that way too. But yeah, looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and start trimming them down and I'll show you how much I had to trim. Looks pretty solid though. Yeah, I ended up cutting quite a bit out of those WeatherTech rear mats to make them fit. So here's all the extra material we had. Very happy with the product overall. I think it's cool that you can custom cut it to fit a lot of other applications, so it ended up working out pretty good. So after trimming, here's the final fitment of the WeatherTech rear Land Cruiser floor mats. Look pretty awesome back here actually. Super rugged, pretty much covers the whole area. Connects in the middle, really nice. Perfect for what I'm looking for. All right, let's take a look at the final product. So we finally have floor mats inside of the Land Cruiser. WeatherTech, perfect, great fitment. And we come over and look at our center console area. How much more modern does that look? How much cleaner? So cool. I'm very happy how this turned out. Yeah, I can clean it up a little bit. The little discolorations you're seeing is just some of the goo gone and other things, so I can just clean that up a little bit, but I just wanted to show you how absolutely clean it looks. So much better than that faded wood. Oh, it came out excellently. A little bit of a pain in the butt to do, but in the end, I'd say it's worth it. This car is looking pretty awesome, not a speck of fake wood grain or veneer anywhere in here. And we've got floor mats. We are golden. The Land Cruiser is really coming together, guys. I love this rig. So there we have it. Some minor updates go a long way into refreshing how this vehicle looks. I love this Land Cruiser so much, and we're gonna put a ton of awesome parts on it, fortify its off-road credit even further, and that's all coming down the line, I promise you. But I just wanted to spruce up the interior a little bit. I think the steps we did today actually make it look a lot more modern, a lot cooler inside, and it's functional. Having, you know, really good rubberized floor mats is gonna go a long way to preserving the interior, especially when we want to get dirty and get in and out of the vehicle. So I think that's good stuff. Man, I love this rig so much. I can't stress this enough. You guys got to get one of these things. If you're on the fence on what kind of overland or off-road vehicle to get, the 100 Series Land Cruiser is just so cool. Anyway, I'll stop plugging the vehicle, and if you're watching this, you probably have one too, or you're thinking about getting one, just do it. You won't be let down if you do. So thanks for following along, guys. Thanks for following this slow but evolving series. And again, thanks for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, and everything else. You guys are awesome. All right, from the Auto Obsessive Garage, we'll see you next time.